Hello everyone, Vidita this side. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are fit and fine. So, children, here in this chapter, we are going to revise the question answers that would be given at the back of your NCRT book from the chapter number 5, Glimpses of India. As we all know that in previous video we have completed the complete summary. We already have completed the chapter reading, and we can say that each and every part of this chapter we have completed in our previous video. So now if I'm just want to tell you about that, a glimpses of India has three parts. So first part, a baker from Goa, is a story that relates to the time when there was Portuguese rule in Goa. The story is of a baker living in a Goa village. During those times, people ate loaves of bread. These were made in big furnaces, and bakers known as feathers would come to sell these breads in the street and would make a jingle sound with the bamboo. Although nowadays we may not see these loaves, but may sometimes see the furnaces and some bakers carrying on the traditional business of their forefathers. So the author remembers the coming of the baker twice a day during his childhood days, and he was the author's friend and guide also. The maid servants in the author's house would buy loaves of bread which they ate with tea. And during those days, bread was an important part of any occasion, especially the sweet bread that named as bol. Also, the baker had a peculiar dress, kabai. It was a single piece frock that would reach up to the knees. Baking was a profitable business at this time. So, according to these points that we have already know about each and every point, now we are just going to start with some question answers. So, a baker from Goa, we do have some questions that are under the heading of oral comprehension check at the page number 6464. So here we do have a first question. What are the elders in Goa nostalgic about? What are the elders? जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं in गोवा गोवा में why they are nostalgic about? वो किस चीज को लेकर nostalgic है? Nostalgic क्या होता है बेटा? Can you explain this? Like what do we understand by nostalgic? Nostalgic means this is an adjective. अतीत की कुछ बहुत ही सुखद याद जो हमेशा हमें ऐसे लगता है कि वो टाइम काश दोबारा आ जाए. Like we can say that wistful. Okay, this is a very good feeling. Okay, so जो elders है वहाँ के उनके अंदर किस बात को पास्ट की कौन सी चीज है जो उनको बहुत सुखद लगती है. So here we do have the answer. The elders in Goa are nostalgic about. वो nostalgic वो past की उस सुखद घटना के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. उस सुखद घटना को वो बता रहे हैं. That good old Portuguese days. जो बहुत ही अच्छे और पुराने पुर्तगालियों के टाइम के उनके रूलर के टाइम के जो थे हमारे पास डेज उनके बारे में बता रहे हैं. They also reminisced about the laws of breads. So they also remains मतलब वो याद कर रहे हैं अपने पास की किसी चीज के बारे में और वो क्या है वो पार्ट क्या है जिसको वो बहुत ज्यादा मिस कर रहे हैं. That loaves of bread. Loaves we can say that bread that is baked in one piece and can be cut into pieces. उसको एक ही पीस में क्या करते हैं पहले बेक करते हैं फिर उनको डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पीसेस में कट कर देते हैं. सो वो याद कर रहे हैं उन लोव्स के बारे में. उन वी कैन से दैट लोव्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं जो ब्रेड के फ्लॉप्स हैं, फेमस फ्रॉम पुर्तगीज टाइम, पुर्तगालियों के समय से बहुत फेमस हैं, एंड विच दे वर इमेंसली फॉन्ड ऑफ, और जिनके लिए वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा शौकीन है। तो नॉस्टैल्जिक इवेंट उनका जो है उनकी लाइफ का, वो उस टाइम का है व्हेन दे आर अंडर द रूल ऑफ पुर्तगीज, एंड दे आल्सो रिमेन्स, उनके उनके जो मन में याद है वो आज भी किस चीज को लेके है, द लॉव्स ऑफ ब्रेड्स दैट इज फेमस फ्रॉम दैट टाइम ओनली, एंड दे वर वेरी इमेंसली फॉन्ड ऑफ दैट, बहुत शौकीन है वो उसके। नेक्स्टली वी डू हैव द क्वेश्चन नंबर 2, इज ब्रेड मेकिंग स्टिल पॉपुलर इन गोवा? हाउ डू यू नो? क्या ब्रेड मेकिंग की जो ये प्रथा है, ये जो ब्रेड मेकिंग पॉपुलर है गोवा में इतना, क्या वो आज भी है? एंड हाउ डू यू नो, हमें कैसे पता है कि वो आज भी पॉपुलर है? क्या पढ़ा है हमने चैप्टर में ऐसा जिससे हमें ये पता चलता है दैट द ब्रेड मेकिंग प्रोसेस इज स्टिल पॉपुलर इन गोवा? यस, ब्रेड मेकिंग इज स्टिल पॉपुलर इन गोवा। आज भी ब्रेड मेकिंग की जो प्रोसेस है वो बहुत पॉपुलर है। द ऑथर कैन से सो, ऑथर ऐसा इसलिए कह सकता है as one can still find mixers, the molders, molders, and the bakers, and the old age furnaces। क्योंकि ऑथर कहता है कि वो आज भी किसी के पास मिल सकते हैं मिक्सर्स जहाँ जिसमें वो बेक किया करते थे, वो मोल्डर्स जिनमें वो सांचे थे, जो जहाँ पे वो जिनमें वो रख के ब्रेड्स को बनाते थे, और स्टिल द बेकर्स जो बेक करते थे, एंड द ओल्ड एज और पुराने टाइम के बने हुए फर्नेसेस जो भट्टियां थी, वो आज भी मिल सकती हैं। द मेन फेस्टिवल्स एंड ओकेजन्स आर स्टिल नॉट सेलिब्रेटेड विदाउट लोव्स, और आज भी जो मेन फेस्टिवल्स जो मेन ओकेजन्स हैं वहाँ पे, वो बिना लोव्स के आज भी सेलिब्रेट नहीं होते। बोल जो स्वीट ब्रेड होते हैं, मीठे ब्रेड होते हैं, और ब्रेड बैंगल्स, और ब्रेड की बनी हुई गोल सी बैंगल्स होती हैं, लाइक बैंगल्स टाइप जो गोल गोल होते हैं, उनके बिना आज भी वहाँ के जो सेलिब्रेशंस हैं, जो फेस्टिवल्स हैं, जो ओकेजन्स हैं, वो सेलिब्रेट नहीं होते। नाउ वी डू हैव द क्वेश्चन नंबर 3, व्हाट इज द बेकर कॉल्ड? Now these are the very famous and the profession is very much famous. So what do we call of that baker? The baker in Goa is known as pedder. जो ये बेकर हैं गोवा में is known as pedder. उनको pedder बोला जाता है. Okay. So here we do have a knot under an asterisk. Like pedder in general sense is a wall made of stone. जो ये pedder है जनरल सेंस में, ये जो है ये स्टोन से बने हुए वॉल्स होती हैं जिनको हम पेडर बोलते हैं। बट नाउ ओके, बट नाउ इन दिस चैप्टर, अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस चैप्टर, द बेकर्स इन गोवा आर नोन एज पेडर। ओके, नाउ वी डू हैव द क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, व्हेन वुड द बेकर कम एवरी डे एंड व्हाई डिड द चिल्ड्रन रन टू मीट हिम? व्हेन वुड द बेकर कम एवरी डे, जो बेकर है वो डेली कब आया करते थे, एंड व्हाई डिड द चिल्ड्रन रन टू मीट हिम, और बच्चे क्यों भागते थे उनको ढूंढने के लिए, उनसे मिलने के लिए। व्हेन द ऑथर वाज अ यंग चाइल्ड, जब ऑथर एक बहुत ही छोटा सा बच्चा था, द बेकर वुड कम ट्वाइस अ डे, तो जो बेकर था वो ट्वाइस अ डे, दिन में 2 बार आता था। वंस व्हेन ही सेट आउट इन द मॉर्निंग, एक तो सुबह ही जब हम उठते थे या जब सूरज निकलता था जब वो उठते थे, एंड द सेकंड टाइम व्हेन ही रिटर्न्ड आफ्टर एम्पटिंग हिज बास्केट, अब वो आए हैं, उन्होंने सारी जो है वो वेंडर्स की तरह वो घर घर में जा रहे हैं, डोर टू डोर, एंड देन व्हेन दे एम्पटिंग हिज बास्केट एंड आफ्टर रिटर्न, देन दे नीड टू come back at the second time also. So when the baker arrived at their houses, और जब बेकर हैं वो हाउस में, when the baker arrived at their houses, जब अपने अपने घर वापस पहुंच जाते थे बेकर्स, जब वहां पे पहुंचते थे एज अ वेंडर, जब वो लोगों के घर पे पहुंचते थे, तो यहाँ पे बात चल रही है ऑथर की, कि जो ऑथर कह रहा है कि जब मैं वो छोटा था ना, तो जब वो पहुंच जाया करता था ना बेकर हमारे घर पे, दे रैन टू मीट हिम एज दे लव ब्रेड बैंगल्स। वो भागते थे उससे मिलने के लिए, क्योंकि उनको बहुत प्यार था उन ब्रेड बैंगल से। एंड दे गैदर्ड अराउंड हिम, एंड व्हेन दे वर आस्क्ड to get aside with the milk ribbon, they used to peep into the basket and climb on the railings and the benches. Here we do have some points, like we do have the next question also that would be attached in that why the children came to meet him. वो क्यों आते थे उससे मिलने के लिए? Yes, they are saying that they gathered because they loved bread bangles. So they gathered around him. उसके चारों ओर खड़े हो जाते थे. And when they were asked to get aside, और जब उनको हट वहां से साइड होने के लिए बोला जाता था, mild with a mild rebuke, to speak angrily to somebody because he has done something wrong. अगर वो थोड़ा सा हल्का सा हमें डरा धमका के या डांट के हमें जब एक साइड पे होने के लिए कहता था ना, कहते थे, तो दे यूज टू कीप, वो क्या करते थे, झांकने लग जाते थे उसके बास्केट में, क्लाइंब ऑन द रेलिंग्स एंड द बेंचेस। अब वो कह रहा है कि वो उनको डांट फटकार के थोड़ा सा साइड होने के लिए बोलते थे ना, तो वो क्या करते थे, जानबूझ के और चढ़ जाते थे कहीं ना कहीं, लाइक फेंसेस पे, वी कैन से दैट, पार्क या गार्डन पे जो बार्स बने होते हैं उन पे चढ़ जाते थे या बेंचेस पे चढ़ जाते थे और उनके बास्केट्स में झांकते थे। ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई दे कम टू मीट हिम। So here we do have the again some oral comprehension check at the page number 65 from the same, his first flight book from class 10, chapter number 5. So here we do have match the following. There is a must that we do have the 4 points, like as marriage gifts, what should we give? So these are the options like cakes, sweet bread, sandwiches. So as marriage gifts, we can say that they prefer to give sweet bread called ball as marriage gift. Next, for a birthday, for a party or a feast, किसी भी उत्सव या किसी भी party के लिए, they need to prefer, yeah, bread. For a daughter's engagement, for the daughter's engagement, uh, they select sandwiches, and for Christmas, cakes and boilness. So Christmas, for Christmas, they need to suggest cakes. So these are the items that they need to prefer. Okay. So as marriage gift, they need to prefer sweet bread, and for party and feast, they need to preferred bread, and for a daughter's engagement, sandwiches, and for Christmas, cakes. Okay. I hope you will understand. Okay. Nextly, here we do have a note under asterisk, like the following answers, like these sweet bread. These are not compulsory that in every marriage, as a marriage gift, they need to give only sweet bread. These are their traditional, they are their traditions. वो उनके खुद के रिवाज हैं. And according to their culture, they want to give as marriage gift sweet bread called bol, and for a party they need to prefer bread, and for a daughter's engagement they prefer sandwiches. So that is their tradition only. Okay, okay. Nextly, second question: what did the bakers wear? Bakers पहनते क्या थे? What was their attire? So firstly, we do have in Portuguese days when the author was young. Okay, so firstly, during the Portuguese days, the bakers had a specific dress known as kabai. During the Portuguese days, पुर्तगालियों के दिनों में, the bakers had a specific dress. Bakers की एक specific dress हुआ करती थी, जिसको हम कबाई बोलते हैं. And it was a single piece long frock till the knees. ये knees तक की एक single piece long dress हुआ करती थी. And secondly, if we just want to know about when the author was young, that time what the bakers wear. So when the author was young, he saw the bakers in shirts and trousers. लेकिन जब author छोटा था, तो he noticed that the bakers were in the shorts and trousers. वो shorts और trousers पहनते थे, nothing else. ठीक है, जो कबाई थी वो कब पहनते थे? पुर्तगीज का टाइम था. But when the author was young, at that time they used to wear shorts and trousers, which were shorter, then full length, जो full length से थोड़ा सा छोटा था और longer से थोड़ा सा half था. मतलब बहुत लंबा भी नहीं था और बहुत छोटा भी नहीं था. इस तरह के trousers like capri style we can say that पहनते थे. Nextly, we do have the question number 3. Who invites the comment? He is dressed like a peddler in white. Who invites the comment? He is dressed like a peddler. उसने पेडर की तरह कपड़े पहने. And why? Any person who would be seen dressed in half pants, which were short and reached just below the knees, invited the comment that he is dressed like a peddler. So any person, कोई भी, who would be seen, जिसको देखा गया हो, dressed in half pants, जिसने half pant पहनी हुई हो, and which were short, और जो short हो, and just reached just below the knees, invited the comment. और बिल्कुल just reached just below the knees, जो knees तक ही पहुंचती हो, invited the comment. Invited the comment. उनके लिए कमेंट है. तो जो भी था, जो हाफ पेंट्स में विजिबल होता था वहां पे शॉर्ट में एंड जस्ट बिलो द नीज, उसको एज अ बोला जाता था लाइक ही इज ड्रेस्ड लाइक अ पेडलर. So this was because bakers wore such an uncommon dress which gave them a different look altogether. Means, what do you mean to understand? Like this was because bakers wore such an uncommon dress. ऐसा इसलिए था क्योंकि जो पेडर थे, जो बेकर्स थे, वो सच एन अनकॉमन ड्रेस, वो अनकॉमन ड्रेस होती थी. मतलब कॉमन ड्रेस नहीं थी, वो अनकॉमन थी, विच गेव देम ना, क्योंकि उससे जो है ना कि डिफरेंट लुक थी जो पता लगती थी. तो अगर उस डिफरेंट लुक को कोई और भी अडॉप्ट कर लेता था ना, तो ये यूजुअली दे यूजुअली सैड दैट ही इज जस्ट लाइक अ. Okay, I hope you will understand this. Nextly, in question number 4, we do have where were the monthly accounts of Baker recorded? So, where were the correct location where the monthly accounts of the Baker recorded? So, the monthly accounts of the Baker were recorded on the walls with the pencil. वो pencil से walls पे लिखा करते थे because it was done in this manner because at that time there were no proper system of maintaining records in notebooks. ऐसा इस मेथड से इसलिए किया जाता था बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे क्या था, उनके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं था. ओके, because they do not have any option, they do not have any particular system of maintaining records in the notebooks, so that's why they were recorded on the walls with the pencil. Okay, nextly in question number 5 we will have what does a jackfruit like appearance means. What does a jackfruit like appearance का मतलब क्या होता है? A jackfruit is considered strong and healthy. Jackfruit means strong and healthy, and jackfruit like appearance का मतलब होता है कि जो दिखने में अपने फिजिकल बॉडी से जो बहुत स्ट्रांग और हेल्थी दिखाई देते थे, यानी कि to those people, those who are having a plump physique, जिनकी जो पर्सनालिटी है, जो उनका जो स्ट्रक्चर है बॉडी का, दैट वाज fit and strong. And according to the text, such a physique was linked to the bakers. और according अब इस text के according the jackfruit like appearance किसकी होती थी? That was directly linked with the bakers as the profession was considered a very profitable one क्योंकि उनका profit उनका जो business था ना जो उनका काम था उनका जो profession था वो बहुत profitable consider होता था. So the text also mentions that the baker's family and his servants always looked happy and prospered with a jackfruit-like appearance. So the text also mentions, और इस text में ऐसा भी mention है किया जा सकता है that baker's family कि जो उनकी family होती थी ना like jackfruit like appearance means अच्छे खासे खाते पीते घर से we can say that कि वो बहुत strong और healthy है और उनका profession जो था ना वो इतना profitable था at the time of Portuguese and at the time in the time of Goa or the baker from Goa they are very profitable person that the text also mentioned that कि उनकी जो family और उनके servants है ना always looked happy वो भी हमेशा खुश दिखाई देते थे and prosperous बहुत समृद्ध with the jackfruit like appearance क्योंकि उनकी जो appearance थी वो jackfruit like की थी. Okay, I hope you will understand this. You do not have any confusion. Okay, so nextly we do have a baker from Goa thinking about the text. So here we do have some statements and which of these statements are correct we need to give the answer. So here first of all we do have the peddler was an important person in the village in old times. Yeah, of course. This is a very correct statement. Because then that was the reality that the peddler was an important person. He was such an important person in the village. Okay, because always Portuguese people remains about the loaves of bread famous from the bakers. क्योंकि almost जो सभी लोग थे ना वो क्या करते थे उनको वो याद रखते थे क्योंकि उनके जो loaves of bread थे ना seriously it was very famous. Okay. Secondly, we do have peddlers still exist in Goan's village. That was also correct because the bakers were known as peddlers and they still exist in Goan village. आज भी हैं क्योंकि we already done with the question that now only we can find the bakers, those who have adopted the profession from their forefathers, from their ancestors. Okay, so we can say that peddlers still exist in that village. Nextly, in question in point three, we do have the peddlers went away with the Portuguese. अब जो peddlers थे वो Portuguese के साथ चले गए थे? No, this was not a correct statement because peddlers still वो आज भी हैं वहाँ पे. So we cannot say that they went away with the Portuguese. Nextly, point number four, we do have the peddlers continue to wear a single piece long frock. उन्होंने कंटिन्यू रखा पहनना उसको सिंगल पीस लॉन्ग फ्रॉक को कबाई को नो बिकॉज पेडर्स वर वियर shorts and trousers also when the author was young. So at that time they changed their dress after Portuguese rule and they usually wear shorts and trousers which are shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Okay, so nextly we do have point five like bread and cakes were an integral part of Goa life is the in the old days. The bread and cakes जो है वो important part थे उन life के bread and cakes. So here we do have the answer like these are incorrect because bread and cakes are still वो आज भी है integral part. Okay, उसने क्या बोला था हमसे पूछा क्या है कि वो ओल्ड डेज में पार्ट important thing bread or cakes but no they are still popular they are still an integral part of आज भी कोई भी celebration कोई भी event without big bread and cakes celebrate नहीं होता so that these now only they are exist. Okay, nextly we do have traditional bread making. Bread baking is still a popular still a very profitable business. ये जो ट्रेडिशनल ब्रेड मेकिंग प्रोसेस थी ना जो ब्रेड बनाने की जो प्रक्रिया थी, स्टिल अ प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस? क्या आज भी ये वैसे ही प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस है? यस, करेक्ट, बिकॉज पीपल लव ईटिंग loaves of bread and still it is very much popular. Okay, nextly, peddlers and their families starve in the present times. जो पेडर्स हैं और उनकी जो फैमिलीज हैं, क्या वो प्रेजेंट टाइम में स्टार्व कर रही हैं, मतलब भुखमरी का शिकार हो रही हैं? So what should be the answer? No, this is correct. Not correct. Because baking is still a very profitable business in Goa. Okay, so that was not the point. Next, in question number two, is bread of Goan life? क्या ब्रेड आज भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है गोवा की लाइफ में? हाउ डू यू नो दिस? आपको ये बात कैसे पता है? हाउ डू यू टेल like this is very popular business? Okay, so here we do have the answer that yes, bread is an important part. Okay, so one can say so because their main festivals can never be celebrated without the famous loaves of bread. Yes, bread is still very important part of one's life. वन कैन से सो, ऐसा हम इसलिए कह सकते हैं बिकॉज आज भी उनके जो मेन फेस्टिवल्स हैं, सेलिब्रेशंस हैं, दैट कैन नेवर बी सेलिब्रेटेड, वो आज भी बिना उनके लॉज ऑफ ब्रेड के सेलिब्रेट नहीं होते. मैरिज सेरेमनीज वर इनकम्प्लीट विदाउट द स्वीट ब्रेड नॉन एज द बोल. मैरिज सेरेमनीज भी इनकम्प्लीट हैं अगर स्वीट ब्रेड बॉल नहीं बनाया गया, क्योंकि मैरिज गिफ्ट में दे यूजुअली प्रोवाइड बॉल ओनली. सो दे आर सेइंग that marriage ceremonies were also incompleted without the sweet bread called ball. And bread was also a must at parties also. Any feast or any party, that was also incomplete without bread. And cakes and balloons for Christmas. And for Christmas, that was very urgent for cakes and balloons. And the tradition of making sandwiches by the lady of the house on her daughter's engagement, and that was a tradition. एक रिवाज भी है कि sandwiches ही बनते हैं. That was also made up from bread only. So making sandwiches by the lady of the house on her daughter's engagement, कि बेटी की सगाई पे भी जो लेडीज है घर की, वो घर पे सैंडविचेस ही बनाती हैं. So that was their tradition. Okay, and that was also meaningless without love. उनकी engagement जो है ना वो बिल्कुल meaningless होती है if they are not ready, if they are not able to make, if they are not having loaves of bread there. So thus, in other words, the fact that the profession of baking is profitable business in Goa, इसलिए हम कह सकते हैं that the fact, ये सच्चाई है, that profession of baking is profitable business in Goa. And we can say that the business, that process is still popular there, because now also they have to follow the same tradition. While they are having a main festivals, while they are having a main celebrations, they need to prepare that sweet bread for as a marriage's gift. For Christmas they need to prepare cakes. So all these things were made up only from bread. So that's why bread baking is very still popular in that village. Okay, I hope you will understand this. What I want to say to you, that okay, I hope you will understand this. Okay, so what do we understand by this question? That yes, this is very important part of Goan village. So nextly we do have, take the right answer. What is the tone of the author when he says the following? कि उसकी टोन क्या थी जब उसने ये वर्ड्स बोले? Firstly, the thud of the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo can still be heard in some places. So, what was the tone? Yeah, nostalgic, hopeful, or sad. The thud and jingle of traditional baker's bamboo can still be heard in some places. कि आज भी वो आवाज बैम्बू स्टिक से बेकर्स के आने की जो आवाज है, आज भी कुछ जगहों से हमें सुनाई देती है. So what is the tone? Hopeful, sad, or nostalgic? What do you understand by this? Yes, first of all, we do have nostalgic. Why? Nostalgic means that was a very good memory from the past, and that the same that वो क्यों इसलिए बोल रहे हैं कि आज भी सुनाई देती है because they are very that was very good days when they hear these voices. So we can say that the tone of the author would be nostalgic. Nextly, would be the father is not alive, but the son still cares on the family's profession. शायद उनके पापा आज जीवित नहीं है लेकिन बेटे ने आज भी वही अपना फैमिली प्रोफेशन ही चुना है so what is that nostalgic hopeful or sad I think nostalgic also क्योंकि ये भी पास्ट की एक मेमोरी है और होपफुल भी है कि that hopefully it would be that the son still carries on the family's business family's profession okay nextly in part number 3 I still recall the typical frequency of those loves कि आज भी मुझे याद है उन भट्टियों की उन भट्टियों के बारे में आज भी मुझे याद है so what is that yeah this is not nostalgic next in part 4 the tiger never brushed his teeth hot tea would wash and clean up everything so nicely afterward टाइगर वुड नेवर ब्रश करती टाइगर कभी ब्रश नहीं करता जब वो गर्म चाय पीते हैं ना दैट वुड कुड वॉश वो अपने आप ही वॉश और क्लीन अप हो जाता है सब कुछ बहुत अच्छे से सो दैट वाज नॉटी एंग्री और फनी या दिस वाज वेरी फनी थिंग कि हम ब्रश नहीं कर रहे हैं और हॉट टी से अपने माउथ को वॉश कर रहे हैं दैट वाज द फनी पॉइंट नेक्स्टली इन पार्ट 5 वी डू हैव cakes and bolians are a must for Christmas as well as the other festivals. So Christmas के लिए और festivals के लिए these are also important. So these are sad, hopeful and matter of fact. Yeah, these are matter of fact. क्योंकि क्या होता है Christmas पे they need to prepare cakes and all that. The baker and his family never starved. वो कभी भूखी मर ही नहीं सकती because they always looked happy and prosperous और होगी भी because it was very popular business. That was very popular profession. So matter of fact, yeah, this is also a matter of fact. Okay. Now you do have one more topic from this chapter. Like in the extract, the author talks about traditional bread making during his childhood days. So complete the following table with the help of the clues on the deck, and you have to write a paragraph about the author's childhood. So here you do have some clues, like the way bread was baked in the furnaces as it done today, the way the peddlers sold bread having the basket on the head and wandering around what the pedal wore, pedal क्या पहनते थे shorts and half pants when the pedal was paid at the end of the month and how the pedal looked funny due to the peculiar dress. Okay, so here you do have some lines and you need to prepare a paragraph according to you on and here you do have the paragraph like baking and bakery products have always been a part of the popular culture of Goan society and when the author was a young child, he often heard his elders reminiscing nostalgically the famous loaves of bread, although the eaters of those loaves might have disappeared, the makers were still making those loaves in the same furnace, following the similar processes during his childhood. He and his family members were woken up by the jingling thud of his bamboo, and the children used to run to him after hearing the jung jung sound. They loved to eat bread bangles, although his main servants used to take loaves, and the bakers was seen in a special dress, in which he moved around the entire village selling his bread, and he had a monthly account and was paid at the end of the month and the record was mentioned on the wall with pencil and thus baking was a profitable profession and the baker's family and his servants were often said to be having a jackfruit like appearance कि वो खाते पीते घर के लगते हैं okay nextly we do have compare the piece from the text and with the other piece of Goan bakers. What makes the two texts? Are they different or the same? So you need to compare them. Okay, you have some points and you need to compare them. Like the topic of the both and the given extract are same. They talk about the peddlers in Goa and the art of baking bread. क्योंकि ये दोनों ही चीजें गोवा के पैटर्स और उनके बेकिंग ब्रेड्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं बट द पैटर्न ऑफ डिस्क्राइबिंग इज डिफरेंट एट द डिफरेंट टाइम्स लेकिन उनका जो पैटर्न है ना वो क्या है डिफरेंट है द टेक्स्ट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड टॉक्स अबाउट द मेमोरीज ऑफ द एल्डर्स in your NCRT book you also do have that point so you just read it properly and you just try to understand the text on the left side talks about the memories of elders who recollect the past nostalgically, where the text on the right side talks about the period after Goa's liberation, liberation, talking about the realities of Portuguese bread that now seem to be phased with the passage of time. So the points are same, but the time is different. Okay. Nextly, you do have now find a travel route about a place you have visited. Look at the description, add that brochure, then write your own account, adding details of your experience to give a reader a picture of place rather than an impersonal and factual description. So here you do have some points. You need to be very vigilant about that. Okay. So nextly we do have some activities that you should do in your class and students can do this activity in group. They can visit a factory of any bakery and watch the process of baking and note it down. You need to mention the steps how we can bake the bread and then the process can be compared with the one given in the chapter. I hope you will understand that. Okay, so thank you, have a nice day.